name's Aaron Rice with Jodar Farms. We're all-natural, free-range chicken, pork, and eggs.
My name is Pat Burry. I'm with High Altitude Organics. We're on 12.5 acres. We have about somewhere between 160 and 200 laying hens. I have about 200 meat birds, 20 pigs, 11 ducks. When we came here, most of the outbuildings were here, but in very poor disrepair. So the first thing we did was go one building at a time, like what does this building need? Like the chicken coop had wood shakes that were original from the 1920s probably. We had to pop all those off because the roof was leaking like everywhere. And there was like sagging boards and all kinds of things. So we braced all that up, put a new roof on, made a lot of things work here through recycling and reusing the things that were already here.
These are some of our meat chickens here. These guys just got moved out last week. So what we do is we start off with these large coops here that are kind of handmade. We have a greenhouse plastic on the top. It seemed to work really, really well early and late season. It kept them nice and warm during the day when it was, 30, 40 degrees outside. But the problem with it is it gets just so hot in the summer. And the shade cloth doesn't seem to do much to help keep it cool. One of the best things that we've done though is we've opened up all the sides for better airflow, but also with that roll down plastic. And so when the wind comes through or it starts raining or it gets cold, we can drop those sides down really fast, and it buttons it up really nice. As soon as we're finished up, with the cycle of chickens, we move to a new location so that bedding gets piled into compost and we start all over. I don't reuse bedding just because I like to start with nice fresh stuff. But we do constantly add new bedding to the coops. We like to make sure that they have nice dry bedding. That's one of the mainstays of having healthy chickens, is keeping their bedding nice and dry.
Because we're not raising confinement birds, we don't have climate controlled. We have to go with what's happening in the climate at that time. During the heat, we misted. And that will bring the ambient temperature of the atmosphere, even around the birds. It will bring it down. And when it's 105 out, that's a huge, huge deal.
We really take advantage of like spring and fall where, growing chickens, that's the prime time to grow chickens. So we get all our growing into those, I guess it'd be about 4 months of prime growing season. And then we do go through the summertime, but we try to not overload them, because of the heat.
My number one predatory strategy here is the llamas, because they make a horrendous alarm sound, and they do kick. I just swear by them. We have every predator known to man here except for bears and mountain lions that I know of. The other big thing that we have is barn owls, bald eagles, and red-tailed hawks. Mostly I've seen red-tail. If you have foxes and raccoons, my heart goes out to you, because you've got to sink your fencing down a foot and run it at an angle so nothing can dig underneath it. You have to be a lot more diligent. When I lived in Golden, I had tons of fox and predators. We lost 67 meat birds in one night, so I know what that predator pressure is. But out here between the llamas and good fencing and cover, I think, hopefully, so far so good.
The biggest predators that we have here are going to be coyote, fox, raccoon, skunk. I guess we did have some issues with owls, so the aerial predators are a problem, but not as common. The biggest thing for us for predators is to maintain a presence of our dogs walking around the farm, leaving their scent. I think we still lose a couple here and there, but we had more problems at the beginning, And I think with the presence of people walking around constantly around the farm, we turn a radio on with talk radio, and I think that helps, you know, add to the human presence and keeps the amount of predator issues to a minimum. We also lock all of our birds up at night. We've had to, over time, learn what is you know, good enough and what's not. And so we've had to reinforce several different coops and things like that to make sure that nothing can get in there. And so really those are our biggest issues, and I don't want to say we've eliminated them, but we've kept them to a minimum. We start with a couple of different things for our feed. First things first is we get a delivered all natural ration that's mostly comprised of corn and soy. This comes from a local feed store in town. So what we do is we get this. It has no antibiotics, no growth hormones, no animal byproducts. Like bone meal is a pretty common filler for industrial poultry feed. So what we do is we take this and then we go ahead and we toss it in here. Then the next thing we do is we take this stuff here, and this is spent brewer's grains. So this comes from one of 2 local breweries in Fort Collins, and this is pretty much the barley, the wheat, depending on what they're brewing, all those different grains that they use, and when they're finished, you know, it's a byproduct for them and it's a feed product for us. So what we do is we take this, toss it in here, and we try to stick to about a 50-50 ratio. Let it go ahead and mix around for a little bit. And what you end up getting is this sort of mixture of the two, where it's just a moist feed. These guys, because they grow so fast, their bone density doesn't usually hold up, and so you've got leg problems. A lot of other problems that the industry, I think, has is heart issues. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that they're just literally growing so fast that their bodies can't keep up. So what we do is, you know, we don't sit these guys in front of feed all day long. We don't feed them 24/7. We pull them off of feed for a while. And I think that really slows them down, and it helps keep the problems from arising. We've got city taps all over the property that we've had put in over the years, and that's basically what we use. The majority of our business uses for feeding and watering the animals. This is an automatic watering system. This actually took a long time to develop. So it's just gravity fed. We fill up the large reservoir up top and let the chickens drink the water down. As soon as the water gets drank down far enough, a little spring action goes on inside and lets more water out. I like the automatic waters, but I also use some just basic trough waters.